What a whirlwind of emotions. Welcome to Kletus Ray's Roadside Service. I'm not speeding, am I? Quit beeping at me. What the fuck? I'd like to get a different truck. I'd like to be in a different truck about right now. I mean, well, maybe not right now. I fixed it. I'm a fucking mechanic. Did I work on my own personal pickup this weekend like I expected myself to do? And I just kept trying to manifest it into me? No, I didn't do shit this weekend. I did do stuff, and I'll tell you about it. Anyways, whirlwind of emotions here on Monday. I'm going to get with the stuff that's real fresh in my memory before I start making shit up about it. Woke up today, and I laid there thinking I should probably get up, and it was no alarms. This was just all, I don't know how, because I didn't go to bed until probably 1 o'clock last night, is by the time I actually fell asleep. And I woke up at 4 a.m. and, I don't know, let the dogs out and everything. And then I was like, all right, I should just stay up. But I went ahead and I let the dogs out and I laid back down for a little bit, just thinking about, is this what I really want to do? And yes, it is. It is what I really want to do. I really need to do this. I really need to start being more responsible, but I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm telling myself this, okay, guys? I I have not been very responsible at all lately. And we'll get into that. I've been not a great person lately, especially Sunday. I was not a good person. So, anyways, I did get up. I got in the pickup truck. No fucking blinkers. Who gives a shit? I'm just fucking running that motherfucker because I was supposed to work on it. We'll get into, what I did instead of work on it. Drove the truck to work. Everything went fine. People that early in the morning, because it was like 4:45-ish when I started rolling out. And no, it was later than that. Maybe it was. I don't remember. Anyways, I was able to get to the shop with no incidents. Everything went great. Got to the shop, ran in there, got my truck ready to go. So we park in the lower building, is where I try to always park my tanker inside and everything. And I take all the stuff out of my truck, all my personal items, because if there's another guy that drives tankers kind of regularly, and if he gets in your tanker, even though you're on the schedule to use it, if he has to take it for some odd reason, or your tractor, he's going to take your tractor, I don't know, he will throw your shit on the ground, and the ground is not clean, and I like my stuff. So you can't keep shit in the trucks. Anyways, I had all my shit set off on the shelf thing kind of right there. Everything was easy to move. I moved it all over, to my truck, and started rolling. Got my paperwork figured out. That's what I was up late last night doing, was paperwork and trying to get everything entered in and all this stuff done. And I got it all done. Everything is fine. Well, I woke up and I had one more thing to do, and I fell asleep in the middle of doing it, I think. But yeah, started rolling. Everything is looking great today. It's misty out and foggy and wet and humid. Obviously, it's humid, but it's 50 degrees, but it feels warmer than that, because I wore a sweatshirt and I was like, I do not need a sweatshirt, that's for sure. But got to my place where I need to get loaded, my power plant. And what are they doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all just watching the fire hydrant spraying water? The hell? Uh, Got to the place, and boom, there's nobody out on the roads at all. And then I pull around the corner, and there's a line of vehicles. Everybody's, because they're doing a shutdown right now, and that's why they have the guard guy out front that fell on his face the other day. Um, and there's all these contractors and pickup trucks and other semis and stuff, and they're all waiting to get in because this one guy that fell on his fucking face has to get everybody's ID and write it down. And I'm like, this is taking for fucking ever. I was like, brother, I gotta get in there, get loaded, and get going. Plus, I did whenever I was getting my paperwork at the office, the guy that's in charge of this job showed up, and he's like, hey, make sure you do that inside tank again because we put more shit in it. I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, so take care of that first. And I'm like, in my mind, I should have said this out loud. I really should have been like, you know what? I'll do that on the next load, is what I should have said. But I said, okay, because they really want to get that frac tank moved. Some people are telling me they're moving it. Some people are telling me it stays there all winter. I don't know what to think. I have no idea. But I'm just the guy hauling the shit from inside of it. So I get there. I finally get through the line. The guy didn't need my ID because he had it rammed straight into his head. He remembers me, whenever he woke back up from I don't know if he got knocked out or what, but he was laying down for a while. And when he came back to, it was my face he saw. So he remembers me. He's like a baby bird fell out of a tree, and it's like it thinks you're its mama. I think he thinks I'm his mom. I don't know. But anyways, he remembered me at least, so I didn't have to pull out my ID or whatever. I just smile at him. He says, have a good day. I got you down. I said, thank you, sir. Roll in there. And these fucking contractors are everywhere. And it's like, I don't mind contractors. Everybody's out there. They're usually not fucking around or whatever. But these guys, it's our first day out here on the job. Like, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So they're just driving around, parking in bad spots. And I'm like, hey, I got a fucking load here, okay? So I had to go inside the building and actually open up the garage door and back in. Usually everything's opened up and ready for me when I get there, but I guess they had other shit going on today. And I start loading. There's 11 inches in that tank. So that's what I wrote down. I said I pulled 11 inches. And then that's not even a half a load. So I ended up going over to the other tank and started loading on that one also. And I pulled about 11 inches out of that one too. I thought, close to. Because I measured it, I estimated it at 115 for the longest time. It was actually at 110. And I pulled it down to 99. So that was pretty cool. And I started pulling on it, but it seemed like the truck was not wanting to really pull my vacuum like normal. It wasn't going as fast as I thought it should. And so while I'm up there on top of the tank, I pull out my phone, and I'm like, let's just, because I've had a lot of time wasted already. Not really wasted, just things take time. And on Mondays, I can't be taking time on anything. I got to get down there because if I'm not there at or before 2:30, they could technically reject me. Now, if I'm there 10, 15, even 30 minutes late, usually they'll work with you. But I looked and it said I was going to be there at 2 o'clock, and I still have to make a 30-minute rest break at some point in time. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta get going. So I just pulled my hose out. I was like, I don't even know where I'm at, load-wise, but I got to stop it right now because I got to get the fuck going. So I pulled the hose out, and yeah, it seemed weird. It wasn't really, it was pulling a lot of vacuum. I think I got a bunch of solids stuck in my hoses or something. which you would think would eventually move and go through the hose, but I don't know. It seemed a little fucked up. So just pulled the hose out, let it clear out, and then went down there, disconnected it, got everything put away, and then I grabbed my paperwork because I already had paperwork that I filled out once. Because there's no reason I'm gonna take off without a full load when I got a full fucking frac tank, you know. Um, but since I cut everything short, I was off, so I had to measure and calculate, which is scary for somebody like me, to figure out how many gallons I pulled out of this tank, and then I had to go back to the other tank because I just said I pulled 11. That's wrong because there's solids in the bottom. There's like 4.5 inches of solids in the bottom, so I had to figure out how many gallons exactly I pulled out of that tank too, and then combine them. Addition. That's one of my stronger uh, math attributes, especially with a calculator, is addition. I can do it, sometimes, most of the time, except for sometimes. So, anyways, I figured out that I pulled actually only like 3,200 gallons, which I'm usually pull 4,200 gallons. So I'm 1,000 gallons short, but I'm like, you know what? I think everybody's going to understand that the load had to go. I didn't have time to dilly dally around and wait for another 1,000 gallons to pull, even though it would really only take a couple of minutes when the pump is running at normal, but it wasn't running normal. It wasn't, something was going on. I even got up top and I made sure all my hatches were done. I was pulling 20 inches of vacuum, which that's like, you don't get that in the afternoon. I'll tell you that. If you're running a vac truck all day, you ain't getting 20 inches of vacuum at the end of the day. That thing's hot as fuck. When it's cold, it pulls really good. And it should have been pretty cold, because I only run it for probably 30 minutes, maybe. Sometimes we run these trucks all fucking day, and that's one thing I've tried to explain to my boss. I'm like, these dragon trailers, they work really good, but not all day. They just don't. They get hot and they start losing their vacuuming ability. Their vacuuming, not compression. Anyways, the pump just doesn't like to run that good. So, anyways, this is where we're getting to my problems. Even though I've already explained a few of them. I go inside. I had to grab a new paper because the guy, I laid a paper in there, but I just wrote down 4,200 so he can sign it whenever he walks by. He'll just sign it, and then I just got to grab it and then walk out. He gets it, and I already have my part filled out. I had it filled out for 4,200 gallons. That's incorrect. So I had to run back in there. I was like, hey, man, so sorry. I have to have you fill out a new one. Today's the 27th. I think I'm going to be pulling another load on the 29th, so we can just change that 7 to a 9 so I don't ruin the manifest. I mean, who gives a fuck anyways? I mean, it's just a piece of paper, but I only grabbed enough for 3 loads, which is this week. So I had to get the paperwork filled out by him. He didn't talk a whole lot, but we did have a little chit chat, and I'm like, all right, I gotta go. So I grabbed all my shit up, walked out, turned in my safe work permit, and said, adios, I'm out of here. I go out, and then the guy's like, hey, can you move your truck? One of these fucking contractors parked. They were having a big meeting right next to where I was pulling from the second tank, and they had the big garage door open. I pull up there and just fling on my fucking PTO and my vacuum pump, just, and they're like, oh, shit. So they were kind of annoyed. They had to shut the garage door so they could hear their meeting. They were at a safety meeting. I should probably have been a part of that, but I know what I'm doing. I'm doing my own thing. Get the fuck out of here. I got my own safe work permit. Shut the fuck up. Get out of my area. You guys are in my area, is what it is. I'm only here for a little bit, and I gotta get going. So anyways, I can walk out, and the guy's like, hey, are you gonna be long? I'm like, no, man, I'm leaving right now. So I just need to move my van real quick. I'm like, well, I'll back up so you can move your fucking van, you fucking fat fuck. So he moved his van. I don't know if doing that is what messed it up. I turned the PTO off. I have a switch on the dash that says PTO, and I have a lever here in the middle that you engage, that it actually engages the PTO. That just sends the signal. This actually does it, or something like that. I don't know. It hasn't really. I don't know. I don't know. I don't work on this shit. I just know what buttons to fucking hit. So I I get out of the truck and I'm like, all right, because I turned the PTO off, but I had it running, sitting there running, so it built up vacuum because I cleared my hose out and it was just pulling air, and it loses all of its vacuuming ability, or it just brings it down to like 1 or 2 inches of vacuum or whatever. So I after I shut all my valves and put all my caps and everything on, I leave the vacuum pump running while I run and get my paperwork signed, so it'll build up like 20 inches of vacuum. Because I like to drive these with vacuum on them. You have less chance of springing a leak. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't. It's probably irrational. You fucking expedition. You could have fucking gone. You're a piece of shit. Oh, now I got a message I gotta fucking respond to. I'm not on the schedule today. Anyways, no, we're getting to that in a second. The guy's probably gonna call me. I go to disconnect my hydraulic lines, and when you touch a hydraulic line, you can tell if it's hydraulicing, and it is definitely hydraulicing. So instead of disconnecting it like a dummy and having hot hydraulic fluid potentially spray me in the face, I said, "Whoa, something's wrong here." So I hop back in the truck. I was like, "I got the PTO turned off, right? Everything's off, but the light is still on the dash saying the PTO's connected." I'm like, "Well, that's not right." So I turn the PTO back on, I turn it back off, turn it back on, turn it back off, turn the truck off, go over, uncook the lines, get back in the truck, still not doing shit. So I called the mechanic and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm fucking hyped up, bud." I'm like, "Yo, I'm in a fucking hurry. This fucking PTO will not just get disengaged." He's like, "What, did you turn it off?" No fucking shit, I turned it off. I run this truck every day, all week long, okay? Most of the time, so not a whole lot, more, not as much as I want to, but I know what the fuck I'm doing here. The PTO is stuck on. He's like, "Well, uh, get rid of all your air, so you just have to press your brake pedal a whole bunch of times, and then you'll bleed air out of your system." He said, "Yeah, it's probably the pin is just stuck. Once you bleed all the air out, it'll disengage. You'll be fine." So I did that, and I heard something click. And I didn't want to let all the fucking air out because it takes a while for it to build back up. So I heard it click. I said, "Hey, I think it clicked. All right, cool." And I started driving. I was like, "Hey, it's good. We're good." And I'm driving, and I'm just maneuvering around corners and shit. Um, uh, Text message fucked me up. Um, the PTO turned back on as I was driving. I was like, "All right, well, there's some," and I called the mechanic back. I was like, "Hey, man, the PTO turned back on again after being disconnected." I was like, "I don't know what the hell's going on." He's like, "Don't drive it like that." I'm like, "Well, I'm currently pulling out of their parking lot right now like this." He said, "Well, you need to pull over." So I pulled over. He's like, "You need to let all the air out." I was like, "All right, I'll let all the fucking air out." He's like, "Shut off the batteries, shut off the engine, shut off everything, get everything reset to 0." So I did all that, and then it was still doing it. I was like, "Motherfucker, dude." So he's like, well, I'll send you a new truck or a mechanic. I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know. And I'm like, all right. And so I immediately sent a text to my boss and the guy in charge of this job. I said, not going to make it today. Um, Truck's fucked up. And then I got the bright idea. I have a hammer out back on the back of the trailer. I'm going to grab that hammer. I'm going to get under there and start smacking shit until something happens. I don't know. Feel like this is a hammer situation. So go back there. My boss calls me. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Because he was unaware of anything. I'm like, "Dude, the PTO." He's like, "Is it turned off?" Yeah, it's fucking turned off, dude. I know how to run these things. If it wasn't a problem, I wouldn't be fucking calling you right now. I was like, but I just got a hammer. I'm gonna get under here and bang the fuck out of some shit and see if that helps. Uh, it can handle it. I don't think I can hit anything underneath there hard enough to fuck anything up real bad, And I'm not gonna be just swinging blind. I'm gonna be methodically, like a mythical beast, hitting on right shit. Is methodical beast, methodical? I don't know. My boss just called me and was talking about scheduling and shit. So, anyways, I get under there and start banging on shit. Nothing's happening. I'm not hitting it hard either. I'm not trying to fuck anything up. But I see this connector going straight to the PTO. So I disconnect the connector and then click. A big click happened. I was like, what the fuck? All right. All right. I'll fuck with that. I'll fuck with that. So I get back in the truck. Zero fucking air pressure. But I turn the truck on. Everything's working. No PTO light coming on. But I was like, well, I wonder if that fucking connector, this PTO is still going to be on. It's just not going to tell me that it's on now, because I don't know what this little 2-pin connector is really, controlling. Um, but it clicked, and so I got the air back up, and I started driving, and no, everything's fine except for my airbags. Whenever you turn the PTO on these trucks, the airbags deflate on the tractor for some reason. So I just had to fuck with the switch on the inside of the cab here, and then it started building air pressure. Called the mechanic. He didn't answer. Texted him. Said I fixed it, and then I knew he was going to call me. So he called me. He's like, "There's no way you fixed it." I'm like, "Yeah, I fixed it." He's like, "No, there's no fucking way you fixed it." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I fixed it." I was like, I undid the connector down there. It clicked, and now I'm driving, and you can tell the PTO's not on. He's like, "How do you know the PTO's not on?" I'm like, "Brother, you can tell when the PTO is connected and you're trying to drive." He's like, "If you shred that transmission, you'll never hear the end of this." I'm like, "All right, well, I'm telling you with not 100%, but really close to 100%, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I can tell you right now the PTO is not on. It's going to wait till I'm doing 75 down I-35, and it's just going to go, oh, fuck! Put it in neutral. Pull over, smoking, fucked up. And, hey, mechanic man, something happened to my transmission. Because now I'm going to be blamed for anything that happens to this transmission. But I'm like, I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think we were already having transmission problems. Obviously. Obviously, we're having transmission problems if the PTO won't disengage. We're having problems. But hey, don't worry. I fixed it. So anyways, then I had to rebut. I think that's what you can use in this phrase here. I had to rebut my fucking text message, tell my boss and everybody that I'm on my way, but I didn't want to do that quite yet. Because now it says I wasn't going to be there. All of that happened in 30 minutes. So now it says I'm going to be down where I need to be at 2:30 at the cutoff. I have to take a 30-minute break. That means the soonest I could potentially be there is at 3, if not a couple minutes later than 3. So I called up the people where I'm dumping this. I said, "Hey, if I bring you a new cup of noodles, will you let me be there a little after 3?" She's like, "I don't know." And then she's like, "Let me call." And then she called some people, and then she's like, "You're not even on the schedule today." I was like, "I'm not." She's like, "Yeah, you're on the schedule for tomorrow." I said, "That's odd." She's like, "Yeah, we can't fit you in today, but you're on the schedule for tomorrow, so we'll just see you tomorrow." I'm like, "News to me. All right, whatever. Yeah, that'll work." So then I call my boss. I don't know. All this shit just happened. I'm kind of tired of thinking about it. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty tired of thinking about it. And it's still an ongoing situation because I had to text the guy, say I'm up and running again. I did not mention that I only pulled 3,200 gallons, and I feel like if I said that at this point in time, they tell me to turn around and go grab another 1,000 gallons. Nah, man, ain't happening. I'm already on the road. I'm rolling. I ain't going back. I'm gonna do a small load. Sorry, it's a decent load. I got your fucking bullshit that you wanted me to take care of done. But I mean, at this point, it didn't matter how much time I spent getting loaded, because I'm not even on the fucking schedule today. So I was rushing around for no goddamn reason. Pretty annoying. So then the guy that's in charge of the job just texted me and said, "Oh yeah, you're not supposed to offload until the 29th. Today's the 27th. But the people said I'm ready. I'm good to offload on the 28th, which is tomorrow." So I don't know what the hell's going on. We'll figure it all out later. On to other news. Let me make sure this is working. Yeah. On to other news. Me and Luke recorded a podcast, kinda. We were together and we were talking. So, anyways, that's what was put out Monday today. Um, I guess just a little recap. Um, he got married. Congratulations. His bride's uncle, his bride's mom's brother, lives out in Lawrence, and they moved from one house to another house, and they needed help moving some of the shit over. And I don't know. I'm not gonna say shit because a lot of it isn't really shit. He had a hobby of woodworking and stuff, and the guy got West Nile virus. He is able to move around now, but I guess he was paralyzed for a little bit. Um, and he was a woodworker. He would like build chairs. He has a Volkswagen that he redid, and I don't know. He had a whole he had 3 decent sized sheds. One of them, I guess, could be considered a shop in his backyard in Lawrence, in College Town. Like the college is right over there. It's pretty close by. Um, and cute little house. It would be, I don't know who's getting up taking it over, but I could definitely see some frat parties happening or just college parties happening in that house. Anyways, it's got a single car garage, upstairs, downstairs, 2-bedroom, and the house was pretty much emptied except for the garage. And then he had 3 sheds out back. One shed was packed full of chairs, like rocking chairs and just wooden chairs and all kinds of stuff like that. And then the other building was full of like wood and other supplies that he would fix shit with, and then parts of his Volkswagen, um, and a bunch of cabinets and chests and stuff. I don't know. He loved wood, so anything that was made out of wood, he had a little bit of it laying all around the place, and he would actually fix it up. It didn't look like it now, but he's been debilitated for a little while. He got a mosquito, West Nile mosquito bite in his backyard. Not good. Like, and that was in Lawrence. That wasn't he didn't go to fucking Kuwait. He didn't go to fucking Colombia. That was right here in the middle of Missouri. He got the West Nile virus, or I guess I should say Africa, because that's where the Nile is. I don't know what the East Nile virus is, but it ain't as bad as the West. That's probably sure. So, yeah, he needed help moving some stuff. And then Luke asked me if I would help him also, since I have a truck and trailer. And I said, I ain't driving that truck and trailer all the way out to Lawrence. It's not going to be good. That truck and trailer might end up living in Lawrence. You sneaky little bitch. You're a little fucktard, aren't you? You're a little fucktard, aren't you, Jeep? The lane was ending, and everybody's in a nice line, and then a Jeep came from somewhere in the back and just flew up and cut me off. Didn't cut me off, but got in front of me for sure. Um, so yeah, we showed up, ate some food. He's got a Korean wife. I have a Korean grandmother. So that, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but um, anyways, it was cool hanging out with her. He said that she never talks. Um, he's met her a few times and she's never said more than 2 words. But she was super talkative over here. She was, I mean, I never met her obviously, but we had a great time. She's good to make fun with and all kinds of good stuff. Broken English, but it's fine. I'm used to it. I guess that's where it comes into play. I'm used to it because my grandmother is Korean and she speaks English, but yeah, it's all broken and stuff. I don't know how to fix it, but we we just start with the red shed, just loading up a U-Haul. We had to go get a U-Haul. We didn't even get really started until like afternoon, and we only had till like 4:30 because we had to Luke had stuff he had to get on. But we got, I think, 4 loads. I don't know. It might have been 3, but we got a decent amount of loads done in a short amount of time. The last load, I was like, brother, we got to focus on the big shit because they're gonna have to move all this little shit. They could probably get somebody to come over and move. They won't really need a U-Haul necessarily. But so let's just focus on the big shit. And he also had that idea also. So, anyways, we started grabbing all the big shit, and then we were done. But Luke was a little pooped after the day, so he wasn't feeling too hot after that. But I don't know. I think something about the podcast. I don't think he liked me in podcast mode or something. I don't know. But because as soon as we turned the podcast off, I was like, "You want to end it?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "All right." So we ended it. But then as soon as we were done with the podcast, he was back to being happy again. I don't know. I was like, we should have fucking left it going. But whatever, we don't need content. We have friendship, but we got a little thing going. Yeah, we were both pretty tired. We all had fucking spider webs all over us, and we were dirty, and because I didn't see any signs of necessarily mice, but definitely squirrel. There's definitely squirrels that had eaten through the floor in a couple of the sheds and gotten up in there and was just burrowing and shit and pissing on stuff and everything. I don't know. But a lot of this shit, both me and him were looking at each other and we're like, we really, this is this isn't worth storing. A lot of this stuff is probably not even worth taking to a storage unit. But it's his stuff, and he's paying us to do it. We're gonna do what he wants to do, so we were doing that. But we did have, forget her name. We did have her come over, and we're like, she's saying throw away everything. She's like, he's in a wheelchair. He ain't gonna come back over here. He ain't gonna see none of this. So just leave whatever you don't want to take. I'm like, well, I feel bad because if he does end up walking again, and being able to move around and stuff, this is what his passion is working on all these chairs and stuff, refinishing wood and rebuilding cabinets and all kinds of good stuff. Um, so we took a lot of it, and he did. He sat at the storage unit while we were loading stuff up, and he wanted to see and talk about everything we were bringing out. But it's okay. It is fun to talk with some people like that. But we were like, if we're gonna get any of this shit moving, we can't sit around and talk. I'm so sorry. I could sit here for hours and talk to you. It would probably be a good podcast. But we got to get shit moving if we're gonna get anything done today. I don't want you paying us to not get the job done. But that's where we kind of get into it. And Luke was a little upset. I would, and understandably, because he's like, I got to come back out tomorrow. They got the U-Haul till noon. Um, so he said he was gonna come back out on Sunday and work by himself, just trying to get all the now that we got all the big shit done, he could go back there. Because he was like, I really want you to come. I'm like, well, brother, I've been out of town all week. The one day that I did come home, I got home at 10 o'clock at night. I didn't see the kids. I saw my son that morning because I had to wait so long to leave the house. So I saw my son, but then my daughter was screaming at me from the window, and I had to just drive away because I was going to be late and I had to get going. And I felt bad about that, but I was like, I've been out of town all week. We did when I got back in town. I had my wife pick me up because I was on the DR. I rode the DR into work, but it was misting, it was cold, and it was like 5:45 on a Friday, and I was like, it just doesn't seem like a safe ride home on a bike. I just had my wife come pick me up from work, and I was dirty from being at work. And we went to Olive Garden. My son really wanted steak. We ended up not getting steak at all, but we were trying to find a place that had steak that everybody was going to be happy with, and we decided on Olive Garden. We hadn't been to Olive Garden in a while. The salad is still delicious. The breadsticks are still soft and warm and salty and garlicky. I got me a seafood Alfredo. Had scallops and shrimp, and they didn't have the tails on the shrimp. That was nice. It was nice. Nice of you, Olive Garden. Because last time I went, I think it was the last time I went to Olive Garden is when I got that dish where they had the fucking tails on the shrimp, and I had to dig through my pasta with my fingers to rip the tails off of these fucking shrimp. I'm like, who in the fuck is not doing their job back there? Apparently, it's a fancy thing. Apparently, fancy places, they leave the tails on. I'm like, on a shrimp cocktail when you're touching the motherfuckers. But this is like, they are like buried in my pasta. And I'm like, can you eat it? Can you eat the shell? I don't know. So anyways, we had that. It was a good time. And then we got to hang out with the kids. We went back home. Me and my son, we watched this queso show. It was so funny. And then I downloaded a video game. And I downloaded Card Store Simulator. I forget the name. Trading Card Simulator. I don't know. It's where you run a store and stuff. And I'm gonna get into that in a second. Don't you worry. I'll be talking about that for a while. But we were watching this other game because whenever I went to go download that game, because I'd watched Queso. He's a streamer on Twitch and he's on all the platforms, but he's like mainly streams on Twitch. He's the reason I downloaded Twitch because he's so funny. But I found out I don't really necessarily like to sit there for 2.5 hours watching somebody else play a video game for a few funny moments. I'd rather wait for the edited video to come out where all the funny moments are put together. That's what I like. But anyways, he was playing this game, so I downloaded it. But there's another game popped up as I was like searching on Steam to buy it. And I was like, oh, that game looks cool as fuck. Well, it turns out Queso decided to buy that game and start playing it. And it was so fucking funny. We watched we watched the whole stream. It was just him by himself playing this game for the first time, and it was so fucking funny. Me and my son were rolling on the ground laughing. And my daughter was pissed because she doesn't like people laughing too loud around her, I guess, apparently. She was pissed, but we couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny. Um, So, anyways, I did have a good Saturday night with the family, and then Sunday woke up and no, it was Sunday that I woke up and I downloaded the game. I woke up early. I don't wake up early for nothing. I woke up early, ran to my computer, downloaded the game. I was like, I think I can play this game a little bit before I have to. Luca's gonna come pick me up on Sunday morning. So I played the game for a while. It was a lot of fun. But then my wife was like, is he coming to get you? I was like, oh, fuck. I was still sitting there in my underwear. I was like, fuck, I got to get ready. I got to get going. So anyways, then that's whenever we took off. We went over there to help out moving. So anyways, he wanted me to come back out Sunday. And I was like, I'm not trying to guilt trip him. But I was just like, brother, I haven't been home, and I'd like to really be home, and there's a lot of stuff I got to do. That's where the excuses started rolling in, that he could probably see right through. He's known me long enough. He could probably see right through all my excuses. I was like, I have to work on my truck. And I feel bad because this is probably the first time he's hearing this right now on the podcast whenever this comes out. I have to work on my truck, dude. The truck bed is full of shit from my mom's house. I gotta unload that shit. I gotta load in new shit to take to my shop and dump it in the trash can. The blinkers don't work. I need to work on the blinkers, figure out what's going on there. And then also it's not running right, so I need to pop the hood, start messing with the fucking timing or something. If I come out here and help again tomorrow, I'm definitely not gonna have time for all that. And so he's like, fine, I'll do it by myself. Well, it turns out he ended up not going either. Probably because I said I wasn't going. So I feel bad. But now this is where the truth sets in. I woke up early again, Sunday morning. Went to the kitchen, sat at the kitchen table, opened up my laptop, and I probably got the least steps in my life on Sunday. The least amount of steps ever in my life, other than when I couldn't walk. Because I did have a broken pelvis at one time, so I was in the bed for a while. But other than a broken pelvis and being a baby, I think yesterday was the least amount of steps I've ever taken in my life. I sat down at that fucking computer. I played card playing simulator, card shop simulator all fucking day. All day. All day. And this is where I'm a real piece of shit because I have a family and I have responsibilities and there's things that I need to do. And I kept looking at the clock saying, I'm going to get off of here in a second and go outside and work on the truck. But every time I would just keep playing. And then my wife was like, are you going to be in with the kids for a while? Because I'm going to go take a nap. I'm like, okay. And so then I was like, oh, well, now I have to sit here and play. You know, the kids don't really need a lot of, they really do need supervision, but, you know, they ain't gonna perish, you know, they'll be fine. So I just sat there playing that, and you know, the house is growing into a mess behind me. It was insane. My wife had just cleaned my daughter's room for the second time, got everything put where it needs to be, and my daughter drug everything out of her room, every fucking thing out of her room, had it all throughout the whole living room, everywhere. The dogs are chewing on dolls' heads and shit. She's freaking out. She ended up going downstairs. My son, he snatched my cell phone. He took off with my cell phone. He was just downloading games and watching regular YouTube and all kinds of stuff in his room with my phone. I didn't know where the fuck my phone was. I was glued. I was glued to the fucking screen. And my daughter's just making a fucking mess. You know, she's having fun. She's not bothering me, and he's not bothering me. So I felt like they were fine, and you know, that's why I'm a piece of shit. Is because I said I haven't seen my kids. I haven't spent any time with my kids, and then I proceed to not spend like any time with my kids at all. I mean, I did. I mean, my daughter would come over and sit next to me and watch me play, and then she would ask me to open up this snack, and and my son, he would come in every now and again and be like, "Can I play?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I'd let him play for a few minutes. Um, but really, I let all of my responsibilities go Sunday, and I just wanted a game. I was just a gaming boy. I was just making the card shop, growing the card shop. I don't really want to talk about the game. I mean, I could. I don't want to do that to you guys. Uh, just watch Queso. Now, my card shop is way better than what Queso's shop is going to be. Mine makes sense. Mine is a good shop. It's run made to run efficiently. I'm making money. Oh, it's such a good game. I love that fucking game. I'm afraid of going back home because I'm going to sit down and play that game. It's a game. There's no mods. I mean, it does have mods, but I don't have it. You don't need them, you know. And I bought the full version, so you can sit down, you pop it open. The game is ready to go. Stock them shelves. New item alert. You know, expand your shop. Customers, collecting card. You know, all kinds of shit in the game. But yeah, I kept looking at the clock, and it just kept getting later and later and later. And I was like, "Oh fuck, it's dark out. I gotta go work on the truck." And everybody was like, "We're hungry," and my wife was like, "You have been such a piece of shit today that you have to go get dinner." Because usually she's usually the one stuck at home all the time, so she's not itching to get out, but she will leave without the kids and take a little drive, which is fine, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Totally understandable. Um, but she was like, "No, you're a piece of shit. You need to go get the fucking food." So I went out and got Culver's, uh, and it was delicious. I think I'm going to start telling people I'm a competitive eater. Because I'm trying to think of what are the reasons I eat so fast. There's got to be, and I. So if I'm out in public and somebody mentions something like, "Damn, you didn't even taste that," I'm like, I know I'm a competitive eater. It's hard for me to not eat fast. That was actually slow, by the way. Or I could say, "Oh, well, I was in prison," but I don't want to do that. I don't want people testing me because I have not been to prison. I went to a jail once. I didn't even go inside. I sat in the lobby. I was supposed to be in jail. If I didn't get my bond, I would have been in jail. But I got my bond, and then I was able to go home. So, anyways, I'm trying to think of like reasons like why you got to eat so fast. Sometimes you have a messy burger, and you're like, you got to eat it fast, or all the shit's gonna fall off. Or like a taco or a burrito, you have to eat it really fast. You got to eat it before it falls. It's gonna fall apart. Got to eat it quick. So I don't know. I'm just bringing that up because my wife showed up with the Culvers, and I was still gaming. And or no, my wife didn't show. I showed up with the Culvers. I set it down. I pulled out the kids' food, and then I sat down and I shoved that burger into my mouth like 5 bites maybe. And it's a double Culver's burger. It's not like a small burger. It's not a big burger, but it's not like a small one. But I would say 5 bites, and it does not take long to do that. And it's gone. And then the pretzels, just dip it in the cheese, little pretzel balls, dip it in the cheese, and then cheese, and 10 of them, bloop, gone. And then I'm like, all right, time to start gaming again. Because I already made it up in my mind. It's way too late to go work on the truck, and it's time for the kids to go to bed. So I put the kids to bed. I did do that. I took the trash out. I thought I was going to get a little praise for that. No, I forgot to put a bag back in the trash can, and my wife had like dumped a plate of something in there without no bag, and she's like, "You motherfucker!" I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You didn't put a bag in." I'm like, "Oh fuck! I thought I was gonna get a pat on the back or something because I actually took the trash out without even being told to. It was just overflowing. I took it out, but turns out you got to put a new bag in there." But the game was calling me. I had customers waiting in line. What was I supposed to do? Make them wait and get a bad review? The game is pretty intense. It's pretty fucking cool. And I even thought about it. I was like, I'm driving the truck, even though the truck is still fucked up. That's my only option to make it to work today. I have to make it work, and I already have the idea in my head. I think most of the shit that's in the bed of my truck, I'm going to either store it at the shop somewhere until I bring the truck back, or I'm going to try to shove the dirt bike with all the shit in the back of it so I can bring everything home, and then I'll have the dirt bike in the back of the truck, so I will have to unload the truck. And that will spark something in. I'm making excuses, it will spark something in me to stay outside and keep doing shit. If my beloved DR650 is loaded in the back of the truck, I ain't leaving it outside. I'm putting it in the garage. But it's pretty nice. I got a ditch in my front yard. We don't have like curbs or sidewalks or anything. We just have ditches with culverts under the driveways. So I can back my truck. I can pull my truck into my yard and then back it into the ditch and then roll my bike right out into the yard or into the street. Pretty convenient. Um, Now at work, I don't know how I'm going to get that bike in the back of the truck at work, but I'll figure it out. We have a forklift. I'll fucking rig that up. I don't know. I'll do something. Whenever nobody's there, I'll do something, and I'll get that fucking dirt bike loaded up. Um. Anyways, we're about there. I've about talked about everything, I think. It was an okay weekend, I guess. I just didn't get anything I wanted to get done. Um, oh, what I was saying was I was thinking about taking the laptop with me, but I told myself, I said, if I take that laptop with me, I'm gonna get no fucking sleep. I'm gonna be in a hotel by myself playing this card simulator, and it's gonna be daylight outside, and I'm gonna be like, oh fuck, you know. So I left it on purpose, even though now finding out that I'm driving down there just to go to a hotel. That's all I'm doing now. That's what. So all the rushing that I was doing and freaked out about is gone because I'm not even going to get offloaded today, not until tomorrow morning. So now all I got to do is drive down there. And usually I drive down there and all the way back up to Wichita after waiting and getting unloaded to get unloaded or whatever. So today's going to be a short fucking day. This is not good. But I think tomorrow is going to make up for it. Maybe, probably not. Oh, I'll try to put in 14-hour days, I guess. I don't know. Whatever I got to do to make that money. But today is going to be a slow one. But I also don't feel too great. Something about my house. I don't know. Everybody doesn't feel good in my house. And then I show up. And then I start to not feel good. I need some fresh air. Roll them windows down. Oh, that's another thing. I guess I'm almost done here. I keep thinking of little things here. My fucking furnace ain't working at the house, and it's starting to get cold out, but I don't know. I think they're going to be fine. Like last night, it didn't feel bad. It didn't feel cold. I mean, it felt fine. But it's going to get cold, and I have a drafty fucking house. I need to do some work to it. I need to go through and recalk everything. Um, Not recalk it, just caulk it at all. You know, I need to get me a bunch of caulk. Somebody find me a good deal on a bunch of caulk so I could go spread it all around my house and seal up all my drafty cracks with some caulk. And I don't know, need to do new door sweeps and shit. But big thing is probably the furnace. That's probably the most important thing to do is have a way to generate heat in your home. And right now, I don't know. I had Luke. He just looked at it for like a minute. We had to get going, but uh, I had him look at it. He's like, "It's weird. It's not something's not working." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I don't know. He said more technical shit than that. I don't know, but he said it ain't working. I said, yeah. He said I'd have to have tools to fix it. I'm like, oh. So, anyways, I'm gonna talk to him, see if he would do me a favor like that, come over while I'm out of town, because I'm gonna be out of town. I might not even be home Wednesday now because of this. So, anyways, I'm gonna have him look at. I'm gonna see if he will. I don't know if he will. If he doesn't, I got a neighbor that will. Um, Probably, but my wife don't like the neighbors coming in the house. I don't know. They're cool people. I like them. They're great people. Need me some Casey's Pizza before I fucking feel bad too much. Casey's Pizza makes you feel better. They're gonna be serving lunch pizza by the time I get there, motherfucker. Oh, I guess I am kind of tired. I only got 4 hours of sleep. Uh, the video that me and Lee, my son, were watching that was so funny, that was cracking us up. I don't even know what it's called. Just look up queso. CASE or CASOH. I don't know if there's an E in there, but it's queso. Sounds like the Mexican cheese, but it ain't. It's actually just spelled totally different. Queso just put a video out the other day, and it was so fucking funny. I think anybody would enjoy it. And the game is also, because I saw the game on there, I was like, I don't know what that game is. It looks cool, but I don't think. I watched a trailer for it, but I was like, it's a guy. You're a guy, and it's a multiplayer game, so you can have your friends and your short little round guys, and you can get dressed up. There's different glasses and hats and other shit laying around. You got to smoke cigarettes so you can run fast. You got to drink beer so you can be stronger. And you're driving an RV. You have an RV that is, they can get damaged, and you're just trying to get back to the interstate or whatever. Your camping trip is over. You're ready to go to the interstate. So you have this camper. The camper can't get too damaged or you lose, and your guy can't get too hurt or you're gonna lose. And it looks like a fucking cool ass game. I might end up dabbling with it, but I don't know. The only way I would ever play games is if I had friends that would play too. But I don't really. I mean, you can find them. Obviously, you can find them. I just don't know. I don't know. I And even this card shop simulator, I'm like, man, I should be streaming this shit. But see, queso. See, that's where I might be able to do it. I wasn't on camera, so I wasn't going to sit there and talk the whole time. I was going to sit there and just try to be perfect. But I'm like, I feel like I could probably stream this. And if I have a stream and I have commenters and whatnot, the chat, or whatever they call it, uh, that would make things way more entertaining, because there are mishaps and shit in all the games. But also, I mean, I played it for a full fucking day. Not of 24 hours, but I played it, you know, all of the waking hours. I was playing that game. And I don't know, I can see how streamers can really get burnt out. There was one video I saw a while back. It was a guy. He's like, I'm a streamer and I fucking hate it. He's like, I have to play all these fucking games. I don't like any of these games. I don't like talking to the chat. I don't like doing any of it. Like, he was coming clean. He just got way burnt out on shit. It's like, and that's where I don't let myself get. Like, if this podcast was burning me out, I'd probably fucking close up shop and be gone. You guys never hear from me again. I'll come back 3 years later and be like, hey, I'm back. But it would never be the same. I don't think this podcast is ever going to burn me out. I'm working on growing it, and I don't know. That is where Luke was bringing that up too. He's like, yeah, you had a YouTube channel and it's growing, and everything was going really good, and then you're like, I'm out of here, and then you fucking quit. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I wait for things to get things get too good. I'm gonna fucking jet. I'm like Ricky Bobby's dad, Reese Bobby. Things get too good. You want to get the fuck out of there. Not sure why that is. I don't know. But I will say, with some of these other podcasts I've been doing, everybody's like a real podcaster, and that's what I mean. The guys that I've been talking to and been with, they're great. I love them. They're awesome guys. I got Jason, Jiggy, and Mike. I think I got it right this time. They're up in Canada. And then we got Stevie V. He's over in Casper, Wyoming. I had to think of the friendly ghost first. Um, and then there's even some other ones that I listen to. I listen to this other podcast. It's called Walk Like a Mailman. And I think it's a great show. Everybody should listen to it. Check it out. I found them on the Facebook thing. And then there's another one. It's called Adulthood Pending. And I've been listening to that here just recently. And that's, I don't know, might turn on that. Seeing he just posted one up. So probably turn that on once I get off of here. And I don't know. I think we're roughly the same age. I'm roughly the same age as all these guys. I think I'm younger than most, like Stevie V and the Canadians. But anyways, I feel a little connection with this guy over here, Adulthood Pending. So probably going to start listening to him quite often. And the Walk Like a Mailman, been listening for a few episodes. It's hard to go back and listen to old episodes when they're putting out new stuff. So I don't know if I'll ever go back and listen to every single episode, but I'll probably listen to every new episode coming out. And he reached out because they said like post up your podcast and let other people see it. So I saw him put his up, and that's how I found him the first time. And I said, "Yo, been listening, great show, like it." And then he sent me a message. He's like, "I just found your podcast. I think it's fucking hilarious." I'm like, "Oh right, hell yeah, awesome." Growing, getting out there. But anyways, like that's what I'm trying to get at is everybody else is like they're sitting down, they got a studio, or maybe it's probably not like an actual fucking studio, but they got like equipment and mics and they have good audio. And I'm just over here just on my like fucking talking on a phone, driving a truck down the highway. And for the guys that are out there that I don't know, maybe don't realize it, I am doing 75 down I-35 right now. I am currently driving. I'm on a hands-free headset, recording audio only on my phone. I'm not being dangerous about nothing, but I am like I'm working here. I'm working. Driving down to Winoka, Oklahoma. DOT's out. Look at him. Look at him. What the fuck you got doing? That guy. You speak English? I don't know. Looked like a white guy. I don't know. They're pulling over everybody out here. I got pulled over the other day. Got a fucking ticket. Haven't heard anything else about it, so I'm guessing it's going to be taken care of, and I won't have to do anything about it. Especially since I'm continuing to get my career at this company. At least for now. I got a couple other places that I had applied for that are finally getting their feet off the fucking couch, and they can start talking to me. I'm like, I applied at these places like 20 days ago. Over 20 days ago. Why are they just now fucking getting up to it? It's like, hey, is this the type of communication I'm going to expect once I get on the job? Because that ain't going to work. I know you're just a recruiter, but Jesus Christ, I'm giving you everything you need on a fucking platter, and you're like, nah, not right now. I'll call you when I'm ready. Your job is, I'm doing your job for you. You should start paying me to recruit myself, motherfuckers. No, I'm not going to take the job. I don't know. So, yeah, there's another heavy haul place that I was looking at, and I called him on Friday. He said he was going to give me a call back and never did. So, probably going to contact him again today. Say, what's up, dude? You never called me back. He's been reaching out to me, but I thought I was getting this other job, so I didn't. I kind of put him on the back burner. But I mean, I've given everything I needed, but I just hadn't been, pursuing him as much as I probably should have. But anyways, it's another heavy haul, bigger business. Hopefully, he's got family insurance, and maybe that'll work out. I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of like just ready to get through 2025 with less of a headache. There's so much shit going on. And my card shop simulator game is calling my name. I show up and they're like, what do you do in your free time? Like, Sunday, I didn't do anything but play this card shop simulator game. It's weird because I usually only play games where you drive cars. There's not one car in this game. It's all monsters and people. Anyways, we've been recording long enough. Adios. Keep all 18 down. We're going to hit you back with another episode all week long, every day. Just listen to them. Skip through them. Also, I mean, I know this is at the end of the episode, but the episodes, I feel like they get better as I warm up and I get into the podcast mode. You know, sometimes I've really, I was going to say funny, I was going to say interesting things to say at the beginning of the podcast, but if you just hop around, just pull that little slider bar, like, what did he say at 15 minutes? What did he say at 25 minutes? I don't even know what the fuck I said in this podcast. So I can't even give you a recap of what happened. I did think about that. I was like, maybe I should record a podcast and then do another like little short recording of just a quick recap of things so people can go back and be like, oh, I don't know if I want to listen to this or not. And I can also score my own podcast. Be like, this was a good podcast. This was probably a boring one. Skip this one if you want to. You know, I thought about doing something like that, doing like little mini episodes of the big episodes. But you know what? That's more work, and I'm not going to do that shit. Fuck that. Adios. Bye-bye.